morning. Good morning. Could be good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are tuning in from. But welcome. Please let me know where you're tuning in. If this is live or a replay, I'm really grateful that you're here today. Yes, and if you're trying to catch a replay, it will be on Facebook and YouTube. All right. If you're joining me live, I will, as usual, try to check your comments during the podcast. And if I don't get to it, it's nothing personal. It's one of those challenges that I am meeting face to face, and I'm working on it. I really appreciate you being here. Well, welcome again to the Karen Smith Frazier podcast. As you may have guessed, I am Karen Smith Frazier, and I'm a podcaster, life coach, entrepreneur, lifelong learner, and advocate. I'm especially passionate about helping people, especially women of a certain age like me, navigate transition and move beyond that fear that often holds us back, and to step into and create a chapter of life that they would love. No more playing small and hiding those hidden gems that we call talents and gifts. I wish more people knew that those gut feelings we get during this transition time, especially when from the outside things seem on track, that they should be given some attention. And most of us have been conditioned to ignore them, especially if they may displease others around us, family, work colleagues, maybe even clients. They have a lot of, those folks have a lot of expectations about us and what we should be doing and shouldn't be doing. But it doesn't have to outweigh our desire to do things differently. And sometimes that may be more fulfilling for us and leave a positive mark on somebody else. Well, today is a bit special. It's a special occasion. I am excited to welcome a guest who I had the pleasure of meeting, working with, and growing with over the past few months. And in addition to having a great sense of humor and some pretty mean dance skills, I must say, Dr. Sarah L. Webb is an international author, professional speaker, and a soulful life and leadership coach who helps people transform their world from the inside out. Dr. Sarah brings a fresh perspective on how you can always turn the page and start a brand new chapter. With her unique style of intuitive and spiritual practices, Dr. Sarah is passionate about guiding people through the heart-led journey of elevating themselves, their families, and communities. Now you can see why I invited her, right? All right. So without further ado, let me welcome to the stage
Hi,
Dr.
Karen.
Sarah Webb. Hi. I'm so glad this is happening.
Yeah. We're both like cheesing and grinning from.
I know, right? We're like two little kids. It's like,
Yes.
okay. Let's pull it together now. This is a podcast. Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, I mean, I could read the accolades forever. But let you tell our audience, who is Dr. Sarah?
Dr. Sarah is a new author. I have my debut book is coming out in July, called Colorism: The Politics of Skin Tone and How We Get Free. Emphasis on the how we get free. Okay. And that book is based on 15 years of work I've done with my initiative called Colorism Healing. And through that work, I have reached audiences across the globe who want to understand how they can heal from the issue of colorism, as well as how they can take action in the world to create change for their families, their communities, and the larger society. And I am also a spiritual practitioner. And so my newest offering is what I call channeled coaching, where I help people not just have the dream, have the courage to dream, but also
Mm.
understand how they can implement a plan and strategy to manifest that dream and to put it into action. What I call building your dream life, a life that you love waking up to every day. So that's who I am. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Wow, that's funny because part of what I do is I'm a dream builder coach. And I didn't know
Yes,
that part about you. So it's kind
the
of funny
alignment.
how things, are aligned and you don't know it really
Mhm,
is. But
mhm.
now you've been doing a lot of this book called Colorism isn't just something, a new passion of yours. I
Right.
happened to find another book that has it's noted that you were the editor of this book
Yes.
called Colorism Essays and Poems. So I
Yes.
know this has been a passion of yours for quite a while. And
Mhm.
what, was there one experience? I'm sure there were multiple, but was there a key experience that really made you feel like I need to we need to talk about this, and not
Yes.
just a little handful of folks, but folks need to know. But
Yes, the
yeah.
world.
Mm,
The world needs to know. So there was a specific moment in time that prompted me to take action on colorism.
mm,
So I had experienced it and witnessed it my entire life. Before I could even remember, I was observing colorism, but I stayed silent about it. I thought maybe it's just me. I guess I just have to get over it. Other people aren't saying anything about it. But what changed for me was being a teacher. And
mm.
if people in service roles, we care a lot about the people we serve, whether you're a nurse, like your professional background, or a teacher like me. And my students were saying things about their skin tone, things about other people's skin tone that were very disturbing to me, very negative towards darker skinned people in particular. And they were saying these things as if they took it for granted, right? That, well, of
Mm.
course, you would prefer the light skinned person. Of course, I don't want to get darker in the summer. Of course, I wish I looked like my light skinned mom. And I was like, whoa, this wasn't just me. It wasn't just my generation. This is a much larger issue. And the
Yes,
fact
it
that
is.
this up and coming young generation are saying the same things I heard when I was in high school, I was like, who's working to change it? Who's working to stop this? Who's working to heal this? And when I looked around, I didn't see a lot of people taking up that mantle. And so I said, well, I can write. So I started blogging about it. I started writing about it as a way to make people aware of what was
Mhm.
happening, and also writing about ways that we can heal, ways that we can stop causing harm, ways that we can teach people around us and future generations differently. And so it was witnessing these young people that I wanted to nurture and seeing how, if we don't take direct action, then this is just going to continue to persist.
Yes, we have to be intentional about it. It's not something that's just going to happen.
Right.
For those in the audience who don't know what colorism is, could
Yeah.
you give a short definition?
Yes. So colorism is a social hierarchy in which people with the lighter skin tones are valued and given greater status in society, and people with the darker skin tones are stigmatized and marginalized. And colorism happens around the world. It happens in cultures and on continents around the globe. And so it's something that we have in common. It's like an international pattern and trend that we see. And
Mm.
I every time I talk about it, there's someone from a different culture than mine who's like, we have that in my culture. I saw that growing up in my country. And so it's definitely, if you aren't aware of it, when you understand the scope of it, you'll be like, how did I not know this? How could I not have been paying attention to this before? Because it's just that massive.
Yes, well, this topic came up. I also work with an organization called Africans on the East Side, and so we work with African youth and Black American youth, and this topic comes up.
Mm,
And knowing
I
that
can
I now
imagine.
have a resource who's an author who may be able to help us,
Yes,
and an educator who,
yes,
just saying, I'm just putting a little thing in your ear,
absolutely.
but this has been a topic that's come up because as I am a lighter skinned person, I am
Mhm.
aware of the colorism as well, and how some of my darker skinned colleagues, and now as I'm working more with West Africans, I'm noticing these patterns even more.
Mm,
That, something they could say won't be listened to, and I can say the same thing and be given more attention. And that's when I have a responsibility to call that out as well,
there you go.
because it impacts everybody.
It does.
And it's not just a one-sided story or one-sided issue where one side needs to advocate.
Mhm.
But this is something, and the other this colorism book with the essays, um, it was really good to hear what young people were talking
Yeah,
about the topic.
yeah. And it was
Uh,
interesting to go from editing and nurturing other people's writing and serving and giving a platform to other people's voices to now doing that for myself, and saying like, okay, now it's okay, it's my turn. Like I can also be the person in the book. So I think
Definitely.
that's, talking about evolving and changing and letting yourself grow, giving yourself permission to do a new thing. That's like a practical example of that as well.
Yes, yes. Okay, I'm looking at my notes here.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see. What's now? There was a time when, well, let me start here. Now we met in an entrepreneurial space,
Yes.
and a lot of folks wouldn't think, well, what does that have to do with anything? But essentially, how did you end up in that room with me?
That is such a
um,
good question. That's a really good question. I have been on this self-employed, now what I call entrepreneurial journey. I feel like saying I'm self-employed is a form of hiding, right? Because it's like, I don't know. But
yeah.
I I've been wanting to stop hiding.
Mm.
And so our coach, our mutual coach, Robert Hartwell, he was running this ad on Instagram and he said, You're obsessed with hiding. And Karen, so one of the things why I call my program the Dream Studio is because I work with people on their literal dreams, like the ones that we
Mm.
have when we're asleep.
Yep.
I had a dream where this professional singer was literally hiding in his photos on his website. And I was like, "That's you, Dr. Sarah, that's you. You're hiding.
Oh,
You say
that's
you wanna be this professional, you say you
I
wanna have
know.
this prosperous coaching practice, you say you wanna change the world through your endeavors, and yet, just like this guy in your dream, you're hiding on your website, you're hiding in your photos." And people might find it strange, like, people who follow me might be like, "What you mean you post every day? Like, you do all these YouTube things."
Right.
But
Right.
there are parts of me and aspects of me that, I'm being called to and compelled to put more front and center. And I think that's, it's not just like, oh, who's highly visible, but who's highly visible in a way that reveals and honors and celebrates like all of who they are, not just the parts that are palatable, not
Mm.
the parts that people expect or ask of them, but the parts that are genuinely part of my calling and my mission, right? Which is not, for me, it wasn't just academia. And of course, I call myself Dr. Sarah, right? And I do have a PhD, but I like to say I'm more in the realm of like Doctor Strange or like the medicine doctors, of like
Yes. Yes.
indigenous ancestral practices, right? So it's not just an intellectual or academic title. Like I started embracing the title of Dr. Sarah when I realized that like in like African mystical and magical cultures, like the practitioner in the community was often called Dr. So and so, right? But thinking about what it would take to stop hiding and to live, not just live, but to bring that front and center in my professional practice. And there was something about Robert Hartwell's message where he said, "You have a new story to tell." And I was like, yeah, I do. I want to reintroduce myself to the public. I need to reintroduce myself to the public and let the world see who Dr. Sarah like really is.
I
Because
am so
people,
glad that you took that step,
yes,
and that we had that encounter. So many times I talk about um, the reasons that we play small,
hmm,
and the fact that so many of us do, and
yeah,
how, what we say we want to be, what we say we are, and our actions aren't matching. What we aspire to be. We won't get there if we keep playing small.
that's right.
And for me, it was, I was a nurse, and I mean, I still am, just not practicing right now. But it took a while for me to make that decision to, I feel like I'm a person of integrity, but this
Mm,
piece doesn't feel right with me. Nobody
yeah,
else would know. It's
mm,
just me. It's just my gut feeling. Nobody else would know. And it's so important to listen to that voice that's calling us to more, calling us to
yeah,
becoming who we are created to be. And I think
yes.
being around other people on this journey and who challenge
Mhm,
us is
yeah.
really important. I really don't believe this isn't a sales pitch or anything else, but I really don't believe that we were created to travel alone.
Yeah,
I think there's always someone who's going to see something in us that we can't grasp yet or we don't notice. And if we are open to it, I really believe that together, um, uh, folks can move further along than they could by themselves. Now,
yeah,
granted, there are times when
yes.
you just got to do your own thing because
Yeah.
other people going too slow or they're holding you back. So there's that awareness also.
Yeah,
But
yeah. It's a both and situation.
yes, a both and
Yeah,
exactly. All right. Oh, I see somebody came in.
yeah.
Welcome, always destined for greatness. Thanks for being here. Let's see. All right, cool. Okay, a couple more. I don't want to keep. Oh, I could keep you here all day, but I'm not. I promise. All right. Um, let me see. When what what mindset shift did you um, have to make, like going from an educator to an author or to an entrepreneur? Did
Yeah.
you was there a certain kind of decision, like a brave decision you had to make to get going, or was it something that was kind of easy or natural?
It definitely wasn't easy. I mean, in some ways it was easy because when you realize just how unhappy you are on a particular path,
Mm,
like that kind of makes it easy, but the uncertainty and the questioning from the people around you can make things very difficult. And so it's like this tug of war, this internal tug of war of like, I know I have to leave, but I'm afraid. I know I have to leave, but these people keep telling me to stay. um, and so for me, like I'll use the specific example of leaving education full time. I still consider myself an educator. And so that's part of the mindset shift
definitely.
is that our purpose is bigger than one particular container. And so if my purpose, my mission is to educate and teach, I don't have to be restricted to traditional K-12 or higher ed, institutions. There are so many other outlets, so many other platforms where I can do the activity of teaching, of educating. And so that was an important set shift for me, is
Mhm.
I'm loyal to my calling above else. I'm not loyal to a job. I'm not loyal to an audience or to a particular group of people. I'm loyal to my calling. And if my calling involves teaching of some sort, I can do that in a way, I can do that through a process or in a container that sustains me, fulfills me, and brings me
Mm,
joy. So I think that was
mm.
important. If you feel like you have a dream or a calling, think outside the box about what that could look
Yes, yes,
like. Yeah,
yes. Because your box won't. It's not supposed to be the same size as everybody else's.
that's right. Or the same
It's
shape.
it's yours. It,
Yep.
it's it's yours. And even for me, now that I'm not in the hospital or in the school nurse's office, I think my role is still as a healthcare provider.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's just I just get an opportunity to uh, present material and encourage folks to take care of their whole beings. It's not just a
Yes.
physical health.
Yes.
And because it all feeds into each other. I mean, trust me, I know when I'm running around like a chicken, I feel it because my physical well being is impacted. And
Mhm.
so everything that I talk about and encourage people to do, I'm doing it myself
Yeah.
because, it helps me stay accountable. And again, I mean, I don't know most of the folks that watch the podcast, but I know that if I'm going to say it, then I need to be practicing at home too.
Absolutely. Yes.
So,
And you're right.
yes,
Like,
yes.
that's it's similar with, like, public education and formal education, is that, like, you don't always have the freedom, the legal freedom sometimes to talk about, like, for example, my spiritual paradigms, you know what I mean? I have to follow the curriculum, but I wanna be able to talk about dream interpretation whenever I see fit.
Mhm,
And I wanna be able to talk about, your intuition, and not just like, "Oh, get this score on a test," you know? So, I
mhm.
think that's an important piece when people are considering leaving or changing, is where's their greater freedom? And my word for the year is freedom.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, okay. Welcome, David from New York. It's good
Hi,
to,
babe.
I'm glad you're here.
I'm in New York as well. Woohoo.
I know. All right. Well, I'm gonna get one more question, and I'm looking at my list.
You have
And
a list?
the thing is, I'm learning stuff about you that I didn't know. I mean, but I want to, yeah, another episode.
Okay.
Um, um, okay, I kind of like this one. What is one thing you had to unlearn to kind of get to the next level?
Oof. It's like, where do I
Well,
start?
I didn't mean to give you so many hard questions, but
No, no.
sorry, Dr.
Well,
Sarah.
yeah. One thing I had to unlearn, I'll say one of several things, to be clear, that I've had to unlearn is, um, that this natural inclination I have to be imaginative and to be this dreamy person, to be this, like, mystical person, is somehow antithetical to practical reality. And
Mm,
I don't think I ever, like, truly believed that was the case, but I had to unlearn my desire to prove that to people, or unlearn my desire to, like, have to make a case, or try to convince other people that
yes,
it's not
yes,
just quote unquote woo woo.
yes,
And the story I shared when we, like, first met in person, like, following my joy and following my dream is the most practical magic I could do in this lifetime, right? Like, there's nothing practical about being unhappy. There's
mm,
nothing
mm,
practical about feeling trapped and feeling like you're out of integrity, right? Like, that's not practical. To me,
mm.
it's more practical to wake up in the morning and be ready and enthusiastic for my day ahead. Like, to me, that's practical. And so I had to unlearn, like, or, like, release that fear of people think of that judgment that people are like, oh, that's not practical. That's not reality. That's not real life. You should grow up, right? That people like, oh, you should just grow up and stop dreaming, stop having like using your imagination. But I don't think that people like us who dare to dream are any less practical than people who, what I say, wear cynicism like a badge. So
Mm, mm.
yeah.
Yeah, it's impossible to have a heart of gratitude and
Mm,
have that and worry at the same time, and worry
mm,
about what other people are thinking or saying. All right,
mhm.
so I'm gonna let you off the hook, but before I do, uh, where can people find you? What's the name of your book again, and where can they find that?
Yes. So anywhere you type in Dr. Sarah L. Webb, you will find me. Now, Sarah is a very common name. So that's why I use doctor. That's why I use my middle initial L. So Dr. Sarah L. Webb on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook. And the name of my book is Colorism: The Politics of Skin Tone and How We Get Free. Oh, and my website, drsarahlwebb.com.
All right, all right. I mean, we had a request in the chat, so I gotta. It was on my list, but
Yes.
the people are asking. Yes, and you said we can pre-order the book.
Yes, the book is available for pre-order. It's being released by Legacy Lit on July 7th.
All right, and I don't know if you know this, that if you pre-order books, it helps to bump her up on the bestseller list.
It
So the
does.
more she has, we come on,
Pre-orders. Yeah.
the more
And
pre-orders we have, then the
and I
better.
see a couple of New Yorkers watching. So my book release launch event, my book signing event will be on July 7th at Gladys Books and Wine in Brooklyn, New York. So if you're nearby, if you're in the neighborhood, come on and I'll sign your copy of the book.
That's awesome. All
Mm.
right. Well, this has been such a joy
Yes.
to have you with me today. I feel weird putting you backstage, so I'm just going to say a couple of things uh, to my audience. Thank you all for being here as usual. I appreciate you. And thanks for those who came out to the masterclass a couple of days ago. We had a nice conversation. And I'm working on my calendar. So if you are interested in, the upcoming events, send me, let me see, events. You can put events in the chat, or you can direct message me, and I will, when the registration links open, I will be able to send you the link to register. And as usual, I want to remind you to unleash your brilliance, uncover your light. The world is waiting for you. And don't keep them waiting. All right. Y'all take care. Thanks so much for being here.